want to get started talking about products. Digital products are something that I know that you guys have all probably heard it like a million times before. Digital products are really important. Digital products are something that's going to be really good for your business. Digital products are the thing that is the easiest thing to start selling for your business. And honestly, it's all true. It's all true. Basically, what that comes down to is people are paying you for your knowledge without you having to go out of your way to find a way to deliver it to them in a physical product, without having to have overhead, without having to have, umpteen coaching clients or whatever it is, or have in-person events, which right now in this day and age, hopefully we'll get back to that someday. But digital products are a really awesome way to start. And I have seen every single digital product from, a $1 page printable or whatever, all the way up to, $300 binders. So there is no cap on it. There's no limit to how far or how big or how small or how low dollar you want to make them. There is a process that I wanted to kind of walk through for you so that you guys can understand it's not just like making digital products, because it's like, where do you come up with the idea for this digital product? You can't just pull it out of thin air. Chances are you have already done enough of the work on your blog, in your business, on your site, that you have enough content to create a digital product. Now, true story, I have been making digital products since 2016, and it's really been a cornerstone of my business. And I'm going to share with you guys one of my favorite easy digital products to create inside of this little presentation. Another true story before we get in. So my presentation that I thought that I had saved in Canva decided that it didn't want to save. And so I literally 10 minutes ago realized this. So fingers crossed this is a good enough presentation. I'm so sorry, guys. So it's going to be good enough because we're going to be talking the whole time, and that's what's really important. So I'm going to find the place to share my screen if I can. Here we go. Okay. All right. Are we in here? Bueno. And we're going to move down a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I want to start by saying, I want to walk through this process to help you guys understand my favorite way to make digital products, which is starting with a blog post, building a freebie, and then creating a product that helps people to get to the next step. So the goal here is to prepare you to make big bucks from your blog and business. This is not just a hobby. This is not just something that we are doing for poops and giggles here. This is a business. And the best way to make more with our businesses is not to rely on an affiliate, is not to rely on ad revenue. It's to take the control into our own hands. And the best way, in my opinion, to do that is through digital products. So it doesn't have to be hard to make digital products, because this is a big thing that I hear all the time from my clients. I don't know how to start. I don't know where to make it. I know that there's big name blogger, and she has, a $9,000 course that's a digital product. Well, you don't have to start there. You don't have to start there. And that's kind of where the beauty of it all comes in. So we can have beautiful businesses that make creating products super easy, super simple, or we can basically sit there screaming and bashing our computer and wishing that it was easier and that we were not there having to deal with it. I have been every single one of these women. I have pulled my hair out. I have screamed at it, and I have literally almost dropped my computer down a flight of stairs because I was so frustrated trying to figure out what is the answer to a digital product that I can make for my readers that they want. It felt like it was this elusive thing. It was like a unicorn. It was like I was looking for this thing that didn't exist. And I'm stressing myself out. And the more that I stressed myself out and overthought, the bigger of this monster the idea of digital products became. And so once I found these easy steps, it became something that was easy, was fun, could be done on repeat, could be done over and over and over again across the board, no matter what kind of niche or topic that I'm talking about. So It's time to stop looking at your blog as just a blog. This is your freaking business. If you need to take a screenshot and put this as the background of your phone, I totally get that. I support that. Please do. I'll make a funny face for you. There you go. This is the biggest game-changing line that I've ever heard for my business. This is not a blog. I started the blog as a hobby. I started it as a mom blog. It's not just a blog anymore. This is a business. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the distinguishing factor between, oh, I think I'll just do some ad revenue, I guess, whatever. And I'm taking the complete control into my own hands and making this something that I want it to be. So this is your business. So back to products. Products don't need to be expensive. They don't. You don't have to feel like, I don't know what I'm going to sell like for $300. Your product, your digital product can be a small printable. It does not have to be a mega thing with 8,000 pages and 18 hours of video tutorials. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be easy. It doesn't have to be hard. The things for you that are so simple and easy are life-changing to your readers. So like the processes that you go through every single day inside of your niche just to stay on top of things, which are so easy to you. It is a game changer for your readers, and your readers are willing to pay for your knowledge and your expertise. And yes, this is my favorite one. You can make money from a lower ticket product. It does not need to be a $9,000 product that you're selling. It doesn't have to be something that's like, you have $12,000 a month payment plans. It doesn't have to be that big. You can start small. In fact, it's easiest, and I think it's best, to start small and then grow. Because honestly, just in getting your product started, that's the hardest part. No question about it. So you don't need to start from scratch to make a product that makes you money, because you already have everything that you need to make a product on your blog right now. Everything that you need in order to make a product is already on your blog. So I want to show you how to take a blog post and make it into a money-making product, and we're going to do this fast and easy. And I wish that I had like a blog post that I could have that would have been a really great idea, Caroline. Okay, in another video at some point in time, maybe this is something that I can do, is just literally show you this whole process instead of having to do a PowerPoint. But my computer really hates it whenever I do any kind of screen sharing. So that's besides the point. So I'm going to show you guys the entire process that I use to make things fast and easy when it comes to product creation. But I got ahead of myself. Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm the owner of CarolineVenzel.com. I started my blog in August of 2015 in a fit of postpartum anxiety, depression, isolation. And I was like, I'm going to start a blog. And it was one of those things where it was like, I genuinely expected to be able to make a ton of money right off the bat. And that obviously didn't happen. That's not how it works when it comes to blogging. And so I was shocked by this, and I never wanted to sell anything. This is like the big thing people don't understand about me. I hated selling. I was the Girl Scout who sold 3 boxes. One to myself, one to my mother, and one to my grandmother. Because I could not sell. I hated it. I thought that it was icky and gross, and I was like, I'm just going to make money from ads from my site. That's the way that I'm going to do it. And then I discovered that I could help my readers more in a bigger way, in a bigger scope, in a tangible way, to give them results. Because it's not enough to just read a blog post. You have to take the next steps if you want to see results. And that's where I discovered that if I wanted to make a change inside of my readers' lives, I needed to make a product. And I needed to show them that I was ready to be scared and ready to do something that was outside my comfort zone, which is giving them something to buy. And now my favorite thing in the world is I love to wake up to PayPal notifications. It's my favorite thing because I don't have to do anything for these things to be earning money. once you've created a product, and it takes some time to build up these systems on the back end, but once you've created a product, there is no limit to what you can do with it. You want to do cart open, cart close, cool beans. You have it on sale for a week, every single month, cool beans. You only want to launch once a year, that's awesome. You want to have it open all the time, great, whatever. You make the rules, and that's kind of like my favorite part about all of this. So if you want to be in control of your business, I will continue to say it, and I genuinely believe it, you need to create your own products. So this is a method that I came up with. So I call it the perfect product formula. So this is how we're going to find out what kind of product you're going to make from the beginning. So if you are trying to figure out, like, I don't know how to create a product, I don't know where to start, I got your answer for you. Number one, this is the process that it's going to go through. Your blog post that your readers are on says, I have this problem. I, the reader, am having a problem. The freebie that you give them says, this freebie will help you fix the problem. And your product takes them that step further, where it says, this is how you can take action. This is the massive action that you've been looking for so that you don't have to figure it out on your own. I've been there. Let me help you. I'm reaching out my hand to you. I'm giving you the answers that I wish that I had. Here it is. So I made this little handy dandy little graph so that you guys can see. It's this ascension. People have called it like a product ladder. I still like to think of it as stairs. You're taking them from a blog post, which is free content, to a freebie, which is more free content. But over this entire process, they're deciding whether or not they like you. Because you've heard in sales, in marketing, there's this thing called know, like, and trust. And in order for people to buy from you, they have to know, like, and trust you. And that's what you are doing through this whole process. Is just in your blog post, they've decided that if they like you, they'll give you their email address on their email list. And if they trust you, then they will buy your product. And so without ever having to like go out of your way to do anything, just starting with the blog post and saying, I know my reader. I know that they're struggling with blank. What can I give them for free that will give them a quick win? Because that's all that a freebie is a quick win. We're not talking about like, a college essay here. 1 page to 3 pages max. Your freebie is a quick win because you don't want to overwhelm them. And then once they see results with your freebie, that's where your product comes in. You're giving them the next steps that are saying, all right, I see that you're an action taker. I see that you're ready. Here's the product. And that's as simple as it can be. The good news is, before you freak out and are like, okay, but I got the blog post, great. I don't know what to do with a freebie. I don't know what to do with a product. Like, that's just woo. You already have the content that you need to make a whole product on your blog. And yes, it might take a little bit of finagling with Google Docs or Word or even Canva. It can be as difficult or as simple as you want to make it. Heck, you don't even have to make a printable. If you want to just do a video, you can do that. There are no rules. There are no rules, guys, when it comes to making digital products. If you're like, you know what? I want to host a webinar class where people pay me and we learn how to crochet together. Do it. Do it. I want to give people a new crocheting pattern each month. Do it. That's all. It doesn't have to be something massive or difficult. It is as simple as you want to make it. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, number 1, we're taking it back to, got to remember, this is the process. You find your blog post that's already working for you. You make a freebie to grow your list with the people who are perfect for you, who want to take that to the next step. And then you build the product. So, in order to find your top blog post, you go to Google Analytics, Pinterest Analytics, where you're going to find whatever blog post it is that is bringing you in the most traffic. Before I get ahead of myself, if your first blog post is like one of mine, which is like already, it throws me off every single summer, but I'm going to tell you guys, I have a blog post that every single year I get Christmas traffic starting at the beginning of August. Drives me nuts. I don't necessarily want to create a product that is seasonal, or I don't want to create a product that is just about like Christmas decor ideas. So I'm going to go through my analytics and say, what is a blog post that is doing well, that's in the niche that I want to be known for? Because we all have those blog posts that it's like, how is this doing so well? I'm so guilty of it too. So we start with the blog post that is doing super well. This is to help you understand, we're not going to go back through every single post that you write and try to make a new freebie for each one of them. You are starting with kind of like the big fish. We're starting at the top where you're getting the most page views already. We're not trying to reverse engineer this and make things more difficult than it has to be. Start with the big stuff and then work your way down. And reason being is because once you start with a blog post that's already getting you a lot of traffic, then you know that you're going to be getting a lot of eyes on your freebie to make sure that it's converting. And then you can get a lot of eyes on your product and make sure that's converting. It's a lot better to do it with the bigger blog post than it is to try to be like, I just wrote this post. It has no SEO juice. It's never been added to Pinterest. Maybe someone will see it. It's a lot better to start with what's already working than to try to figure it all out backwards. Okay, next, you are going to make sure that you have a freebie inside of that blog post. Like I said before, your freebie should be small. Like, not so small that it's like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? Like, it's not a blank page for notes. We're talking something that will give them a quick win. 1 to 3 pages is fine. There's nothing wrong with 1 page. Like, let's be real. Do not overcomplicate this. Do not make this more difficult than it needs to be, because at the end of the day, your people want an easy, quick win. And that's what your freebie is built to deliver. We're not going above and beyond here. Like, you do not have to break your neck and add 18 new pages to this freebie. This is a quick win. The reason that you want it to be smaller is because the less that you overwhelm your people with the freebie, the more they feel capable of doing what it is that they're trying to do. So, really quick, story time. I am a frugal blogging blogger. I talk about frugality and finances for my people. I mostly talk to women who have never been able to save any money in their entire lives. They're talking like, I suck at saving. I've never been able to save any money. This is just how it is. And so my freebie, if I had given them my entire budget breakdown process, it would be overwhelming. And they would get over analysis paralysis and back off and be like, gosh, if I can't do this, I guess I just really must suck with money. And I don't want them to feel that way. So I give them a freebie that's going to give them a quick win. I say it's like $100 in 30 days. How to save your first $100 in 30 days. And it's super simple. It's literally something that they can do every single day that takes less than 5 minutes. It's all right there, and that's all they have to do. That's it. That's all that it is. And they have that quick win. And now they're feeling empowered. Now they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I did it. What else can I do with this? Now they're feeling like they can do that. And that's what you want your freebie to do. It doesn't have to be like word vomit onto digital paper of like, oh my gosh, how much more stuff can I give you? Like, but wait, there's more. This isn't Billy Mays here. We're trying to make it so that they have a win. And that's what they want. Sorry. So a few things that you can do for your freebie if you're like, okay, but what do I do? You can make a checklist. Go into, literally, if you wanted to, you could do it in Google Docs. It doesn't matter. It's all up to you. You could do it in Canva. Make a checklist of steps that are already outlined inside of your blog post. So if you had the 10 best ways to get your kids ready for back to school, there you have it. Each step is a checklist. Each point that you've made inside of that post is a header. And then you leave a box empty underneath of it so that they can fill it in. That's it. Ta-da. There you go, a freebie. You could also do like a game plan worksheet where you're giving them kind of like do this, then this, kind of like an workflow. You could make it into a game board, make it something fun. Anything that is a way to help your reader take your blog post and put it into action. That's what we need to do. So This is where we go from the freebie to the product, because we already have the idea. You know that your people need what it is that you're talking about. You know that if you were given the opportunity, you would make an 18-page long workbook and give it away for free, because that's just who you are at your heart. That's awesome. But this is where your product comes in. The freebie says, here's where to start. The product says, here's the next step. That is your product. And yes, it can be really that simple. So a few ideas, that you can do. Whoops, hang on. I moved the chat box over there. Okay, a few ideas that you can do. So take that checklist that you've already created. You can turn it into a guide or a binder. As simple as adding a cover for it, add an intro of like, here's how to use this. You can break down each step into more detail. Take your blog post and use that as basically an outline. Do you want to give it more description on certain areas? Do you want it to be only on a certain topic? Or do you want to give them, you know, a workbook that you've created inside of Canva that will take those steps for them and kind of let them fill it out in the process? You could add in a blank. Whoops. All right, so come on. Move over. There we go. Sorry, that was bugging me. I was like, I don't know what that word is. You can add in a blank checklist so that they can customize it on their own. You could add bonus tips or shortcuts. There's no limit to what you can do when it comes to these products, guys. There really, really isn't. Or you could take it and turn it from like just a mostly text guide and do it as a workbook. You could do it as a planner. You have a cover, you have your intro, you break things down into a format that people can understand. You add in FAQs that you think people are going to be asking, or like objections that you know your people are going to have, and explain how you would fix that problem, how you could go into fixing things, how you could give them an action plan to get over those hurdles that they're dealing with. Add in planner pages. No matter what niche you are in, you can have planner pages. Add those suckers everywhere. People love planner pages. And there's never been, and I don't care how many, every single niche has one, every single blog has one. Your people need a planner page from you. Your people need a planner page from you. And then here is my all-time favorite thing. And I'm not kidding you. Like, this is my favorite thing in the world to do, which is literally taking my blog post and turning it into a mini ebook. You do not need to go into Canva. You do not need to hire a graphic designer. This is something that, and I'm not kidding, every single time I run a sale in my Shopify store or bring people over to there, I sell these. I have them in my store right now. Like, this is not like in theory. I turn a blog post into an ebook and they sell and it works. All I do is I copy and paste the entire blog post. I remove any opt-in boxes to getting people to sign up to my email list. I make sure that the photos make sense where they are. This is all done, by the way, in Google Docs. I do not have Word. I do not use InDesign. I do not do this in Canva. This is literally copy and paste into Google Docs. And then to make a cover, I use my most popular pin that I've already done the work for, that's already been created. I make that into the cover for this ebook. And you can add in page numbers at the bottom and a copyright footer, whatever you want to do. And it's done. And it's done. And now if you're looking for like, well, I want to have a storefront, if you want to have like Shopify or something, this is the best thing in the entire world. In the entire world, to load up your store, to get people over there, to get them to add more than one thing to their cart. This is literally my favorite thing in the world. Not just because it's an easy thing for people to say yes to, like, and make me money, but also because it's an easy way to start making products, to see what it is that your people are really interested in, especially when it comes to putting their money where their mouth is. It's easy enough to like randomly show up on someone's blog, like on a blog post or something, but it's something completely different when you show up over to their blog or show up in, you know, buying the exact same blog post. You know what people are really interested in when they're buying it. So That's my favorite thing to do. If you're like, I'm not a Canva person, I'm not a graphic designer, you don't have to be. You don't have to be, period. But like, especially when it comes to this, people want your knowledge and they are willing to pay for it. And I said this in the beginning, but it's worth mentioning again, your people want things that are easy. They want things that are easy. They don't want to have to be like bookmarking pages. Of course, there's going to be some people who are like, oh, I'll just bookmark this. Whatever, cool. But the people who are really going to take the action are the ones who are like, you know what? I'm done trying to figure it all out on my own. I'm done. It's time that I get the easy way to do this. This chick who I have now known, liked, and trusted seems like she's got it all together. She has the answers. She talks in a way that I like. Awesome. I'm willing to pay for it. So, it doesn't have to be hard. Making products doesn't have to be hard. This is my spoiler alert moment. So I'm going to show you guys a little example so that you can kind of visualize it. I know we've kind of talked a little bit. So we're going to call this Jane D. Jane D, the food blogger. So her top post is how to cook freezer meals for busy moms. Awesome. Her freebie is a simple weekly meal plan page. Singular meal plan page. And then her product can be easy meals for back to school moms. It could just be easy meals for busy moms. It could be freezer cooking for busy moms, because she already has those kinds of posts on her site. She just needs to copy and paste those recipes into a different format. That's all that it is changing the format. We're not changing our words. We're not changing our stance. We're not having to reinvent the wheel and be like, well, I've already said you have to figure out a way to save money. Like, how else can I say that? You don't have to. It's already been done. You're putting it from one format, a blog post, into a different format so that people can take it with them and put it into action and actually get results. Because what seems like a super easy, no-brainer thing for you is a game changer for your readers. Completely. The way that you organize, this sounds like Marie Kondo, okay? Like her folding, do you remember her? Like Marie Kondo, she used to have that show on Netflix. Like how her folding method for shirts was so simple to her. It just made sense. But it was a complete game changer for everybody else. Dave Ramsey, his whole idea about like saving money, it was a game changer for the world. Oh gosh, let's see. There's plenty of other people. There's so many different other people. But the things that seem so simple for this, for us, it's a life-changing thing. It is the thing that people have been looking for. It's what they needed. It's what they've been trying to find, and you have it. Sorry. You have the information. It's your job to just get it out to your people. So I 100% believe that you can do it. I really, really do. So we do have a little bit of extra time. Yay! I'm so glad that went well. And that the presentation wasn't terribly messy. I was really worried, guys. So if you have any questions on like actual product creation, I can riff on plenty of things. But I know that a lot of people also get really hung up on a lot of like the minutia, the small details when it comes to making a product. And it's, if we're going to go a little bit woo-woo, bear with me because I swear I'm going somewhere. When we get caught up on this minutia, these details that really don't make a whole lot of difference, at the end of the day, that's just an excuse not to do something. And we don't want that. We want to be action takers. We want to be the people who get our messages out there. We don't want to necessarily just fingers crossed that like the right people are going to see it. We have to get our stuff out there. We have to keep doing it. And sometimes, yeah, it's not perfect. I literally have gotten emails from people. So, okay, this is a funny story, but it's true. I had my budget binder for sale on my shop since 2016 or 17, I think. And I got an email in like 2019 or something from a woman who pointed out that I spelled budget wrong inside of the product listing. And And her whole thing was, I question the integrity of this binder if it's not spelled correctly, which then of course it sent me into like this downward spiral of like, oh my gosh, is everything misspelled? Obviously it wasn't. But if I had been so freaked out that like, oh my gosh, what if there's a typo? What if somebody doesn't like it? What if I could put it into a different platform? What if I made it prettier? What if I hired a more expensive designer? All of those things. If I had let those things be the reason that I didn't get my products out there, I wouldn't be making a ton of money. I wouldn't have ever been able to sell those things. I wouldn't be able to, say that I wake up to PayPal notifications because my Tripwire, which is the budget binder, sells every single day without a problem. Like, there's not even a question in my mind that it's worth it to put yourself out there. It's worth it to be like, this is as good as it's going to get. And yeah, sometimes it's really scary to put yourself out there, especially when it comes to creating products. But I hope that, if nothing else, I really hope that you guys understand, like, it doesn't have to be big and scary. It can be a printable. It can be a video that you host on YouTube. It can be a private podcast. Like, there's no limits to what you can do. Okay. Do you use any platforms like for courses like Podia or Kajabi? Okay. I have Teachable, for my personal brand. I really like Teachable. I've been with them since 2016 or something. But I also have Podia for another account that I share for my blog coaching. And honestly, Podia is really awesome. I know that a lot of people really like Kajabi. But if price is a factor that's kind of holding you back from doing something, Podia is great. Course-wise, I wouldn't try to figure it all out and like try to like host it on your own site. Without having something like Kajabi or Podia or Teachable. I'm probably going to get heat for this, but I don't recommend Thinkific. That sounds terrible. I've had way too many friends and I've seen the back end of Thinkific, and it is a billing hot mess compared to both Podia and Teachable. So that's my 2 cents. Podia is really awesome. I don't think that you need the next step up in the Podia pricing. I know that they have like a 2-tier pricing as of right now when we're recording this. The only thing that you need for like the upper level would be like if you wanted to have affiliates and if you wanted to have a membership. So unless you're like, if this is your first course, you don't need that. This is just like for funsies. Just so don't feel like you have to go into debt to get a course set up. Never want that to happen. Okay. I have the habit of turning blog posts into ebooks to give away. Most are 20 pages with graphics. Should I turn those into tripwires or leave them? Ooh, Irma, this is a good question. Honestly, I'm a really, really big fan of making my blog posts into ebooks and having them for sale on my Shopify store. I would not be giving those things away. If you wanted to give out like a condensed 1-page synopsis of them, as a freebie, I would do that long before I would give out the entire blog post. That's just my 2 cents. But I mean, like, if you're doing that already and you like to do that, you can. But honestly, I would definitely, like, you're sitting on a gold mine. If you have like 20 pages and graphics, you could put those in a shop. You could list them in a shop. You could make it into a bundle and give it away as a tripwire. Especially like if you're brand new to starting out with products. Excuse me. If you're brand new to starting out with products, like bundling things and just getting your toes wet. We're not looking for like the perfect answers here. Oh no, I don't have my water. Oh, okay. You might have to take a second to grab some water. Hang on. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I was one of those things where it's like you feel like, you got that tickle in your throat and it's gonna keep coming back. Okay. You're gonna add some planner pages to it too? Well, then it better be a higher ticket price. Because here's the thing, guys. And I can speak on this with the utmost clarity and I guess truth, really. And this isn't like to shame anybody, but I have people at every price point. I have products at every price point. I have a coaching program that's $10,000. I have things in my Shopify store that are $1. I have seen the huge difference in pricing. However, there we go. What I will say on pricing, when we feel like we have to continually add things, this is another way of procrastination and perfectionism getting in the way of us actually putting things out there. We have this product. It's awesome. We know that it's awesome. Our people want this. It's going to change their lives. We know this. But can I really charge that much for it? And the next thing you know, you're like, I'm just going to add more things to it. I'm going to keep adding to it. I'm going to keep adding to it to validate in your head what you feel is a quote unquote reasonable price to charge for something. Now, there's nothing wrong with adding things to more products to kind of beef it up or whatever if you feel like it really needs it. But there's a certain line where it becomes second guessing yourself. And even more than that, when you start to kind of like, oh, well, I have this amazing product, but I couldn't charge $10 for that. That's too much. This is just something that I just threw together. It should probably be more like $1. This is where the concept of like people comes in that I want you guys to understand. And sometimes you have to figure it out for yourself. And I wish that somebody would have told me this long ago. The problem when you feel like if people aren't buying your product or something, if people aren't buying your product and you're like, I'll just lower the price. The problem here is once you hit a point where you're lowering it so much, but you're giving away so much, people start asking for more of you. They've passed a boundary. You've allowed people, I've done this. Full stop. Like I'm talking to me. You've allowed people to ask more than they should of you. You're allowing people to kind of push that and to kind of say, I think that this isn't very good. I can't believe I bought this. And next thing you know, you're getting a bunch of people who are like cranky in your inbox and you're like, I thought that it was good. Oh man, I just must be terrible. In reality, there's a big difference between the kind of person that buys something for $15 and the kind of person who will buy something at $1. And a lot of it comes back to just how much they ask of you. So if you have a product and you're like, this is fantastic, but no one's buying it, it could just be that they're not buying it yet. It could be going back to our little product ladder. Maybe you're putting this onto a blog post that people aren't seeing in the first place. So you only have, 100 eyes on it a month. No, of course, not enough people are seeing it to subscribe to your email list. And so definitely not enough people are seeing it to decide if they want your product or not. It could be that simple. But I don't recommend lowering your price. I don't recommend overstuffing your products to the point where it's like a 300-page binder. I mean, especially for a digital product, no one's going to print that out, guys. That's insane. And especially if it's but I can't sell this. I'll just keep adding to it. Next thing you know, it's a 300-page binder and you're like, whoa, that got away from me real fast. We have the capacity. We know our niches. We know our topics. We are experts, believe it or not. Even if you're I don't know. You are an expert in your niche. You're an expert in your field. People go to you for help, for guidance, for knowledge. You're already there. You're already a pro. Don't second guess yourself at all. Like, do not. Your knowledge is worth paying for. Your time, your energy, everything. It is worth paying for. So don't be trying to give away too much for free. Because here's the thing. Sorry, guys. This is just like, right. I know a lot about finances. I know a lot about business. I could tell you, like, and here's how you start saving money, and here's how you become frugal, and here's how you get out of debt, and here's how you get your partner on board, and here's how you build a savings account, and here's how you save for your kids' college, and here's how you start investing, and here's how you save for a house, here's how you save for blah, 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 blah. I could literally make a course that is my entire knowledge base on a topic. But the problem is, that's huge. That's way more information than people would be willing to get into. Like, first off, like, who wants to buy literally an entire section of my brain? Like, nobody wants that. That's just crazy. But, so that's kind of what we do when we second guess ourselves. When we're like, I don't know if this is good enough. I'll just keep adding. Or anybody ever read the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? Like, way back in the day, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. And if you give him a glass of milk, he's going to spill it and make a mess. And then he's going to want to take a nap. And it just becomes this thing of like, and. And so it's like, oh, I could talk about how to save money. Oh, but I can't talk about saving money without talking about how to pay off debt. Oh, but I can't talk about how to pay off debt because I need to talk about credit cards. Oh, but I can't do this. We could all literally talk forever. Literally. But it's our job to remember, overwhelmed people do not take action. People who are overwhelmed already feel like a failure just by feeling overwhelmed by something that they paid money for. So we keep our products smaller, keep them doable, keep them focused on one specific thing, and get it out into our people's hands. Okay, hang on. I feel like I can talk forever about my niche, but I don't always know how to break things out and create a course. I haven't maintained my blog, but I'm trying to get consistent on my Instagram. So if you're talking about like growing an audience, Nikki, I would definitely make sure that you're focusing in one area, like whatever that may be, before you start adding more things to it. If you want to focus on Instagram growth, that's a totally different beast of burden than talking about blog growth. Like, Instagram is its whole own monster in a good way. But I mean, like, you have to really commit to wanting to be on Instagram. And yeah, you can talk forever. We can all talk forever on our niches. And that's how we know that we're in the perfect niche. That's how we know we're in the perfect niche. So when it comes to like creating a course, I like to think of it as like, if I had like 6 modules max, what would I cover? And each module has its own kind of like steps. We have to think of it kind of like as a step ladder, or could talk about it like stairs. What do they need to establish on step 1 before moving on to step 2? What do they need to master in step 2 before moving on to step 3? And then underneath of each one of them, I list out usually like 3 subtopics so that I'm not overwhelming people. Because again, like, there's both nothing worse and like frustrating and like freaky and like, whoa, then getting into a course and it's like, oh, there's 182 modules in here. And then you get over analysis paralysis and then you never log back in. That's why I like to drip things out. So like module 1, you get module 1 on day 1 when you log in, and you have 3 modules inside of it, or 3 lessons inside of it that help break things down. Maybe one of them's a printable. Maybe one of them's a video. Maybe one of them's text. You get to make the rules. Same thing next with module 2. It's kind of like the finish this and then come back to me, and then we can talk about the next steps. So that's kind of how that whole process goes. And again, it can be as big or as small or as difficult as you want to make it. That's all that it really is. You guys make the rules for your own blogs, for your own businesses. If you want to just do course creation, then just do course creation. If you just want to do printable creation, just do printable creation. So, woo! before I have another coughing fit, I hope that that helped you guys. And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. And if you have any questions at all in the future, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. I'm always over there. It's at Caroline Wenzel. I usually answer DMs. Oh, thanks, Irma. All right, guys. Have an awesome rest of the night, and I will see you next time. Bye.